and I still get the mail in her name. The mortgage is still in her name.
Good afternoon. My name is Teresa Tims. I'm president of TDR Mortgage on Real Estate in Upland, California. And today I want to discuss the state of the housing market, specifically the single-family residential market in Southern California. I'm joined today by a very good friend and respected California investor, Mr. Aaron Mazzarillo. Aaron, say hello.
How you doing?
So Aaron specializes in fixing and flipping, wholesaling, but I think primarily his intention is to buy and hold long-term, let the tenants pay off the property and build a massive rental portfolio. Feel free to add to that, Aaron.
I think every landlord investor who has this long-term plan for holding real estate, their regret across the board is, on their deathbed, I wish I could have kept more properties. So I feel the same way. Every time I get an escrow open, I plot, plan, and scheme on how can I dig my nails in and hang on to this house as long as possible. Now, unfortunately, I still have to feed the wife. So, she needs food. I'm trying to break her of that addiction.
That's never going to happen.
Maybe I could get her to live in an RV and we could buy more houses, but it is what it is. Sometimes you got to sell some. So that's why I retail, or if the neighborhood is not really suitable. But I do own a lot of stuff in very bad neighborhoods in San Bernardino. So I've yet to come across a neighborhood that is really unsuitable to hold rentals in. So,
okay. Well, I appreciate your candor, and I've always known you to speak your mind. And one of the things why I wanted to have you on is that you have such a favorable outlook and position on real estate overall. And many people right now are talking, I don't want to say doom and gloom, but everyone I think is being very, very cautious. Myself and my own market updates that I'm giving to friends and family, when you're paying retail for property right now, depending on your particular situation, I think in some instances it's okay to wait 6 or 12 months and try to time the market. That's not always like an easy thing to do. So that's what I've been telling my clients. If you have a property to sell and you want to sell it maybe in like a year or two, I'm strongly recommending that you sell it right now. In many instances, I have clients that are doing move-up purchases. So they're selling a property like at the top of the market, walking with $200,000 and exchanging it for another property that better suits their family's needs. Maybe it's more square footage in a better school district. Maybe it has a pool or things like that. And so in instances like that, when I look at it, to me, it's just a no-brainer, makes sense kind of a thing. What is your take on buying property right now to live in or property to rent out?
I have a very different mindset than the average person, I think. And I think some of that comes from I know that tomorrow is not guaranteed. So if there's a house in Huntington Beach or in Newport or something that I absolutely want to live at, and it's on the market, am I going to wait to try to buy it at a better price because I'm going to live in it? I don't think that's always the most prudent idea. If there's a house that you really want to live in and you plan on being there for a period of time longer than, say, 7 years or 10 years, then I personally don't think price is an issue if you can afford it. And I don't mean afford it by like, okay, we're not going to eat out once a month anymore and I'm going to walk to work once a week or ride a bike. Like, that's insanity, right? You're not going to do that stuff.
Right.
You're not going to go to Starbucks anymore. Like, I can afford it and my life is not going to change at all. I'm going to go to Starbucks as often as I normally do. I'm going to do all the eating out that I want to do, maybe more now that I'm in a new house. Then buy the house. That's just my philosophy, and I've felt that way since I got into real estate. I bought rentals in 2005, 2006, and 2007. Yeah, some of them were worth 50 cents or less than what I paid for them, but I still have several of those houses, and they're worth more now than what they were worth back in 2007 when the market tanked. So if you have this long-term plan about staying or keeping the house, if you get it at a good price today and you can finance it, because it all becomes a derivative of financing, or if you will, like it's a
right. Like, do you have the money for the down payment?
If
And
I
do you
can buy the
qualify?
house and afford it, and I can finance it in a way that allows me to keep it, then buy the house. If you're an investor and you're looking to flip the house, that's an entirely different story.
Right. That's a whole nother
It's an entire different mindset.
Yeah. That's
But as a landlord, I bought several houses in the last few months at today's market are worth north of 400,000, but I'm buying them at wholesale prices. So even if the market tanked 20%, I still got great deals on those houses. And I can't imagine, I mean, I'm not an economist. I don't watch the news. I don't have a TV. I just look at the market. I see what's going on in the market. And yeah, I do see things slowing down, but not everything.
What would you tell a young couple? Maybe they've saved $10,000 to buy a house, and it's their first home. They're getting married soon, going to have children, and they're getting into this house. And let's say the payment is, I don't know, $3,300 or $3,400. They're going to do like FHA financing. They're spending all of their money, and they could go rent that same house for like $2,400 or $2,500. What would be your recommendation on a situation like that?
So, okay, I'm in that situation. I rent in Huntington Beach. Okay. I could afford to buy in Huntington Beach, but I don't want to pay $1.5 million for a house that, if the market does slow down, that I'll be able to buy for under $1 million. Doing what I do, I'm not going to go buy that from the MLS, because I don't think we're going to see that much of a drop in prices, but maybe we will. I don't know. I can't predict the future. Nobody can, and don't believe anybody that they can.
Our phones are just ringing off the hook right now. I don't know what's going on. If you're out there, stop calling our office.
People want money. That's good, right? So I rent in Huntington Beach, and would buy if I could find the right opportunity.
Right.
So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're buying a house, the only thing I could really say is get a home inspection done and then demand every single thing on that, because you're paying a premium price in today's economy, right? In this market, and you buy now, you're paying a premium price. I think it's very high, right? But that doesn't mean it's going to drop. It's just high today. If interest rates go up, maybe it will go down. I don't know. I don't know what those trends are. But I would recommend that they get all of the stuff that looks like it's going to need to be fixed. Make the seller fix it, right? Because it's kind of a buyer's market where they can make those demands. Because they're going all in on this price, at this house at this price. Right. And if something does go wrong down the road within a year, those home warranty programs are a scam. They're not going to fix this. They're always going to come up with some excuse.
They hardly fix anything, I have to say.
Rip off. Like, I've always said that if you really want to make money in real estate, start a home warranty company, because you get every single escrow and you never fix. Like, everything's a recall, or it's improperly installed, or it's out of date, or
the rats chew the wires, something like that.
Some excuse why they won't write that check. So get the seller to fix everything so that you know that you're buying a house that is not going to have some immediate issues. If the roof looks bad, make them give you a roof credit. Make them put a new roof on the house. And people want to sell, they'll do that. I'm doing that now. I get home inspections done on my own houses, and I fix everything, because when I want to sell that retail product, I know those people are really stepping up to buy that house. They're going all in. They can't afford a maintenance issue 6 months down the road. It will break them.
How many houses have you fixed and sold in the last 6 months?
I don't know. I'd have to look. Not a ton, maybe 6. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not a lot. I have quite a few going now. I have 2 duplexes in escrow.
Okay.
2 on a lot in Riverside. We just started rehab on them today. That was a listed property that I bought. I have a house in escrow that I'm selling. I have a development deal in escrow that I'm selling. I have another house on the market.
So you have some skillets. You have some skillets going.
I have a lot going on, and there's more that I probably just forgetting about because I don't keep track.
Really fast, going back to that young couple, recommending that somebody buy or not buy or sell or not sell, I always think that it's on a case-by-case basis. And what I try to do is educate my clients on the process and give them enough knowledge, information to where they can make the decision that's right for their family. Because one thing, as when you mentioned, being in Huntington and I moved to Newport, and people ask me, oh, did you buy down there? I'm like, no way, I didn't go buy. Like, to buy down there, I would need to, for my taste, I would need to spend like $2 million and come up with 3 or 4, 500,000 down. And my payment would be, I don't know, 8 or 9, 10,000 a month. Or I could rent a cool little pad for $3,000 and call it a day.
Yeah, you can live way above your means renting. But that's the drawback is that you go rent and you're like, man, look at how glorious I live. And then you go to buy, you're like, yeah, you're not going to live that gloriously.
Well, the one thing I've learned as a renter in that I didn't, because I don't think I ever rented before an apartment, but the rents go up every single year. And being a homeowner has tax benefits.
They certainly go up if you rent from me. I got to plug my phone and I just realized my battery.
They do or they do not?
They do. Oh, they totally go up all the time. I'm crawling under my desk here to plug my phone.
Yeah, like you probably raise your rent like $30 or something. Like what's the typical rent raise for you in San Bernardino?
Close to 10%, $100, usually $100. If I'm going to write the letter, I'm going to get extra $100 a month out of them. There we go.
Yeah, I'm having I can't see any. Jocelyn, can you see the comments or anything? Huh? Why can't I see the comments on here? I'm just getting this system is a system that was recommended to me by one of my friends that is a very live experienced person, and so I'm trying to get my live chops. And I've been wanting, like, you're my first interview person. Like, I've been really wanting to do this to bring somebody in and
my second Facebook Live. The first one I did like my daughter sledding in Vermont. And I wasn't even sure if it was working.
Well, that sounds like fun. Is that where you're from, Vermont?
No, my parents live there. I'm from
Vermont. Oh, okay. Yeah. So tell me what is your take on I don't know, let's say I own a home, my wife and I, and we're doing pretty good, and we were thinking about buying an investment property. What is your take on giving advice for people looking to buy an investment property right now? And I'm not talking something that they're not seasoned real estate investors. They would be going out, working with a real estate agent and looking into, just having some kind of an asset because they have a little extra money.
I would say if you're in California, buy California. Don't go out of state. And that's coming from a guy who's owned in 5 states and lost money in 4. So I like California. We were talking before this. I'm very bullish long-term on California real estate. We'll have ups and downs. But in the long run, when you walk outside, it's February. It's amazing today. Beautiful outside. My parents have lived in New England their entire life. And almost every day she's like, it's so cold. It's raining out. I'm like, it's February. It's 33 degrees and raining. Like, why do you live like that? It's miserable.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Like what? Sell something and move. My brother was just visiting from Norfolk, and he's like, I'm never going back there. It's way too cold. It's way too wet and rainy and snow.
I don't know how anybody does it.
And here you can look at the snow on the mountains.
Really uncomfortable.
Yeah. So as far as landlording goes, if you're going to buy your first investment property, so when I got into landlording, I did it for tax reasons. I had a very good job. I made good money, but I had 0 write-offs. So my CPA said, look, dude, you got to buy real estate to have some depreciation to help you with your tax. That's actually the reason why I got into landlording.
And if you're a couple and you're making $150,000 a year or $70,000 or $100,000, if you have one rental property, it's almost like you just don't pay taxes. That's been my experience.
It totally helps. And then, one doesn't make a huge difference, but once you got to start with 1 to get to 10.
Right.
Right. So 1 is not going to change your life. You start with 1, but if you can get 3, 4, 5, so then you're like, wait a minute, I'm getting an extra 5, 6, 7,000 a month in rental income. Now, you don't get to keep all that, but eventually you will. Right. So then you get to 10 houses and you're like, I'm making an extra like 12,000, 15,000 a month that I don't have to work very much at all for. And when it comes to managing rentals, it's not really work. It's pushing some paper around. It's super easy. So I never say buy one. If you're going to go in, do the John Schaub and try to shoot for 10. Buy one a year for 10 years, but try to go for 10. The biggest thing for me was when I bought my first one, I had this mindset that if I couldn't afford to keep it vacant, I couldn't afford to keep the house. So I never bought anything that I had to take the first person who applied as a tenant because I did not want to make that next mortgage payment. If you're in that situation, you got in too early. You should have saved some more money, had a little bit more wiggle room. So save enough money so that you can pick the right tenant who's going to stay, pay, and not give you a hard time. I mean, good people lose their jobs, but generally speaking, if you find somebody who's stable, they've been in the neighborhood, like they're in that neighborhood for a reason. Right. Their parents live there. They have a couple kids. They want their grandma to help out. They want to be in that school district, whatever. I try to find tenants who have some connection to the area and they have stable jobs. If they change jobs, that's okay as long as they change within the same industry. Like they went from, cooking chicken at Burger King to cooking chicken at KFC. I'm good with that. But
so you're looking for a certain profile just because of all the tenants turnover you've seen a certain profile that stays and is good.
I look for people who can't be outsourced, mechanics, government workers. Government workers rarely lose their job. So government workers I like, right?
It'd be really shitty to get fired when you're a government
teachers
worker.
Get laid off before, the city clerk's going to get laid off. So I love government workers. I like mechanics. Construction in California is a bit wishy-washy. I tend to not hire, you're kind of hiring when you bring on a tenant. I tend to not go after like day laborers or just general laborers because those people are they're like the ocean, high tide, low tide. When you need them all, and then they get rid of them all. So I like people who have stable electricians, plumbers, all these kind of things that you're not going to send your car to India to get an oil change. It's going to stay here, right? So you got an oil change guy. I want that dude as a tenant because he's never going to be out of work. So there's always
now for your long-term rentals, what size or profile of property do you like to purchase? Would it typically be that 3-bedroom, 2-bath on a 7,000 square foot lot with no pool? Is that what you primarily look for? So
I don't own any houses with pools unless they're in a townhouse complex, which I like townhouses, but I absolutely would not recommend buying condos. They work great for some people, but not for me. I don't want to own a box of air. I like townhouses because it's like an apartment community. It has all the amenities, but you own something. You owned a piece of ground. So I do have quite a few townhouses and I like those.
Okay.
As far as houses go, I own 1 2-story house. Everything single story. I like a 1 to 2 car garage. Detached is probably a little bit better because I have had tenants set the garage on fire twice. So detached is always better. Right? Make sure they get renter's insurance. That will help. I like the ideal house. If I had to say, it'd be like a 1950s track house. Okay. Those are the best. I love them. They're easy to fix. Everything can be bought at Home Depot. They got the crazy funky tile bathrooms and kitchens. I love that stuff. So they're super easy to fix. They're easy to rent. People tend to stay and just camp out in them long term. But I like a garage, at least a 1-car, because in California, it's a very weird place. It's like free storage. So we put all of like $300 worth of garbage in our garage that we never go into. And then we leave our $50,000 car in the driveway in 100-degree sun all summer long. Very weird here.
Totally
but that's
true.
What we do, right?
Yeah, totally true.
You got to have the free storage space for them. So they pack it full of stuff and then they don't want to move and they just stay. So that's my ideal rental house. When I get one that comes across my desk, that's like a 1950s, 1960s track house, single story. I try to do everything I can to keep that house. I love those properties. They're my favorite. I like the way they look. I like the character. And they just rent really well.
So it comes across that you just love the shit out of real estate. And it doesn't sound to me like it doesn't seem like you have any tones of caution in your voice moving forward. What about people that are looking to sell a house? Maybe they're leaving the state, or maybe they're just going to downsize and, I don't know, move to San Diego or whatever. What would you say to people that are looking to sell their house in terms of price? Like if they have a house that's worth, I don't know, it's ranging from $450 to $500, and they wanted to sell it in this market, what advice would you give to someone looking to sell their house? And it's otherwise average home in an average neighborhood?
I think if you want to get the best price, you should look at what the comps are. Have your agent pull the comps and look at what your competition is, and look at what is being offered. So what do you have that they don't have, and what do they have that you don't have? And it could be something as simple as doing a nicer paint job, a more modern paint job, some baseboard, crown molding. All that stuff's really inexpensive to do, and it can change. Like crown molding can change a master bedroom because there's not a lot you can do to a master bedroom. You can change your 6-panel, like if you got the old flat panel, you can put 6-panel doors on. All that's $150 a door. I mean, it's all fairly inexpensive to get you that better price. I think personally, if you can buy and keep and rent your house out, that would be the way to go. Just rent the house that you lived out in and go buy a new one. If you could do that, that would, and it just gives you this long-term hopeful feeling that you have something, because most people have nothing. They have a little bit of money in the bank and job, and but if you
I think that keeping a house is kind of scary for a lot of people and dealing with the landlords or tenant issues. And whenever we have someone in that situation, I mean, I would love to, list that house, refer it, to one of my agents and get it listed and make a commission. I mean, we're salespeople, but my real job is being able to help people create wealth through real estate. And so anytime we've got that situation, I'm on the sidelines going, okay, how can we keep this house? This is how we can keep this house. This is what you can do. We can help put a sign up, or you can go, learn a little bit about being a landlord. Like what you said, it's not that hard. It's sometimes not hard, but it's just basic, a lot of common sense and educating yourself about landlord tenant rights. And when you can hold on to an asset, and then 5 years down the road, these one clients I have, their house was worth probably like $200,000 4 years ago. And they wanted to sell it. And I was like, no, we really don't need to. You guys can do this move up purchase. Let's do FHA. Let's get the closing costs covered. Keep that as a rental. And now that freaking house is worth $410,000.
Look at that.
And they were going to sell it. And do you know how many agents would have said, oh yeah, let's list that house. So I'm really proud of the integrity that we have to help people stay and keep real estate. And I really like that you're saying that too, that don't sell it, keep it, figure out a way to keep
it as long as you can. And get as many as you can. But let's address people who absolutely have to sell. Okay, you want to sell, you believe the market's slow, there's houses on your street that aren't selling. So here's what you do to get your house sold. You look at, okay, in your market, it's slow. You're afraid it's dying, you're going to lose price, whatever. Look at the market. Where is your house going to fall quality-wise compared to everything else that's on the market? Is it at the bottom, in the middle, at the top? Then look at price. Okay, well, where do we want to be to sell it to get the next yes? So let's rewind. Back in 2008, what I think everybody would consider be the bottom of the market, houses were still selling. People were buying houses. I sold some of my best deals in 2007 while the market was dropping. We were still selling houses. People always buy houses in California all the time. I have 2 in escrow now that best price in the neighborhood. I'm making more than I expected. One of them I thought when I bought it a few months ago, I thought it was worth $290 and I got an escrow at $309. So, I mean, it's way more than I expected. So it's a matter of price point. If you're in that move up price where over 400 in my market, if you're over 400, it's extremely slow. You have to do something to get people to see the house. Well, the easy thing to do, and the best thing, I think, the first strategy I always take is I don't lower the price, because once you lower the price, there's no going back up. I raise the commission, because most agents, let's analyze this. There's a lot. Everybody knows somebody who's got a license, but most agents sell like 4 houses a year, and they just barely squeak by. Right. So when that agent that you call up Uncle Bob or, Aunt Betty to help you because she's had a license for 30 years and sells 3 houses a year, when you call her up to ask to help, she's going to look and she's going to see, well, that's 2.5% commission. That's 2.75% commission. That's 2.5%. Oh, wait, this is 3% commission. Yeah. Those other ones, I don't know what's going on with those. I think they're in escrow or something's going on. we got to take you over and see that one because she's going to get the biggest paycheck out of that house.
Right.
So I found that it's much cheaper to raise your commission a quarter point or a half point than it is to drop your price $5,000 to get people to show up. Because once you drop your price $5,000, there's no going back up. But you can drop your commission. The price doesn't change. I mean, sorry, you can raise your commission. The price doesn't change, but agents see that. And then they're definitely more interested in showing the house. And if that doesn't work, then you can put the commission back down and lower the price. So if you're at 2.5%, maybe go to 3%. You know, so when I was saying earlier about checking comps, that's the other thing that you need to look at is like, where are people selling their house? What are they offering to get an agent to legal bribe, right? What are they bribing agents to show the house? So if you offer a higher commission, you're definitely going to get agents who tread the line. They toe that ethical line about, you know, I mean, it's the only industry where we're required to go to ethics training to maintain our license. I mean, you don't have to do that anywhere else, right?
Right.
So, and for that reason, I mean, people see, oh, well, that's a 3% commission. I'm going to show that as much as I can to get, you know, I want to pocket that. If it's 2.5% and everybody's 2.5%, you don't stand out. You're just another house for sale. So, you know, offer a little more money to the agents. I mean, they're doing all the work. So pay them a little more before you drop the price on your house. And I think you'll get more showings.
I like that too, because then it doesn't keep, you know, I feel like when you're headed into a down market, everyone is listing or recommending to list at what the last lowest thing sold at. So you're constantly, you know, you're helping the market, you know, go down. So I do like that strategy. And, you know, honestly, agent commissions have been their commission has been steadily creeping downward where, you know, a 2.5%, 3% commission was pretty standard. And the last few years, people were offering 1.5%. I'm not really seeing that much anymore. I think it's really standard to see a 2.5%, 2 being the lowest right now.
I still see 2s.
Yeah. And it's a lot. People underestimate how much time a good agent spends showing a house. I've got an agent right now that, God, how much time do you think Clyde has spent on that Sanchez deal showing? Like,
but even if they don't spend a lot of time, they're doing a lot of emotional support. I mean, it's very intensive to get people to pull the trigger to do this. It's a big deal for most people. For me, like, I just buy a house. I don't care. Like, oh, I bought another one. Great. You know, sometimes it's just like, oh, I bought another one. What a hassle, right? You got to go deal with that now.
Yeah.
But that's my business, right? But when you're buying a house to move into or your first rental house, it can be a huge emotional onset. So agents are great at dealing with that. They need to be paid for it. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I bet you all the 4 real estate agents watching this right now feel the same way.
And there's a couple other things that I'd like to add about selling a house, because I've represented 2 people in my career whose houses I sold, 2 houses I've sold that I didn't own, just 2. And I have one listing now that it's a friend of mine, but we've done a bunch of deals together. So he bought something. He's like, hey, list this for me and sell it. So career-wise, I've only listed and I've listed and sold 2, but I've listed 3 houses that I haven't owned. So everything else I've listed, I've been either my company owned it or I had an interest in it somehow. Somehow I've been involved. And I've been trying to sell my own stuff all these years, so I know how to sell houses. Well, this one lady called me, and she's like, Aaron, I want you to sell my house. I'm like, no, I don't do that. I buy a house. She's like, no, you're going to sell my house for me. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to sell your house for you. I will buy it, but that's all I'm going to do. She's like, come here and look at it. So I went over, and it had been on the market, and her listing expired, and she didn't sell it. And she's like, what can I do to sell my house? I said, well, you don't look like you're trying to sell your house. I mean, you got pictures of your family all over the place, and I was just so rude to her, but I wasn't meaning to be. I'm just like, your junk's everywhere.
Matter of fact.
Yeah, I'm like, make it look like you're actually trying to sell your house. Clean all this stuff up. People don't want to come in and see all your knickknacks and your dust and all this stuff. Like, clean it all up. A professional photographer is like $200. Hire a professional photographer. Get some really nice listing photos. People are looking online before they're ever getting in their car and coming out. So they want to see. Get a virtual tour. I mean, this stuff is very inexpensive, and it absolutely does help. So, you know, do really good, high-quality photos. Stage the house with your own stuff. So move all your junky stuff, put it in the garage in boxes. Have this mentality that I'm selling my house and moving, and the universe will respond. But if you just camp out like, oh, there's my dirty laundry and my dirty dishes, but I'm selling my house, the universe would be like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you're staying.
Yeah, you're staying right here. Look pretty comfortable. You know, you're gonna stay right here. So you gotta make.
So did you wind up selling her house?
I did actually, and I sold it to a guy for cash, which was crazy. So, and
Well,
he was a dentist and he was like a senator or some House of Representatives from out in Redlands. It was a really weird situation, but yeah, he paid cash for it, and he bought it for his kids who were going to college. His two daughters who were going to college in that neighborhood over there. So, but I've done that every time I've listed and sold one of my own houses, and I think also if you don't have really nice furniture, it's inexpensive to throw it in storage. You know, I'm not going to say write the check to stage it, but if you have a really nice house and it's vacant, you're moving out of it or you've moved out of it, then maybe stage it a little bit. At least stage the living room and a master bedroom or something. Put some stuff in there so people don't come in, they just see this void, this empty space. They want to see, because normally when people move up, they're also upgrading their lifestyle. They're buying new furniture, a new car to go with it, some new clothes, whatever. So you want to give them that. You're selling them the dream, right? So you put a little bit of nicer furniture in there that you could rent from a stager, have them come in, the nicer photography, the drone guy, you know, get all that stuff. And it's not expensive to do it. You're trying to sell a $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 price tagged item. You got to put some marketing behind it. You got to put some money in to move that product. And maybe your agent will do all that for you. Then don't complain that you're paying a 3% commission or 6% commission.
So Aaron, you have a website called, what is it? AaronTheHouseBuyer.com? No.
So that's kind of just a blog where I do my deal of the month. There's not really much up there, but it's just, and I don't do it for the public. I mean, I advertise a little bit. I really do that just for myself because I don't like to journal, but I do like to write. So every month I upload a deal of the month. I do a little bit of consulting there when people just absolutely must pay me to be on the phone with them. So I'll do that, but I'm not advertising that either. I prefer nobody call me. I like my privacy.
So don't call me.
Yeah, don't call me.
No.
You have money. If you have money, call me.
What, if I were to ask my viewers to help you in any way, or how you could help them, who would be good matches for you? People that are looking to sell wholesale homes to you?
So I love wholesale deals. So if you're in the wholesale market and you have an opportunity, I really prefer the Inland Empire. I don't want to be in the $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 price range in this market. I think that is feeling a lot of static and slowness. But that first-time entry-level home buyer, $200,000 to $300,000 retail price range, I love that. I mean, those people are always looking to escape the apartment life or mom's house or whatever, and get into a first-time home buyer opportunity. So I love that price range. So I like those deals. I like development deals. I just finished a big lot split in Riverside where we made a little subdivision. I put it on the market, and I think we went in escrow in like 6 days. So I like deals like that where, I mean, it's a year minimum. It's a long-term play, but I like deals like that.
Okay, so partnership deals. So if somebody has some money that they're looking to spend and partner, you're all about maybe talking to that person.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to I have enough short-term money behind me now at this point. But if you have an IRA, a retirement account, you have money sitting around getting zero interest at the bank, I absolutely will put that to work. I like maybe minimum 5 years. I really don't want to go less than that, but I can pay you way more than what the bank is going to pay.
Okay, cool. Well, I like that. I can't think we covered so much today. Thank you for all of your insight and your enthusiasm. It's just really refreshing.
There's lots of real estate brokers out there, and there's lots of mortgage brokers and all that. There's lots and lots of these people out there. You're the only person, I'm only one other mortgage broker or lender that I've ever done something like this with. And that's because I've been doing this for 16 years. And you're one of the two that I would recommend to anybody. And we just closed a deal recently. I had a very tricky deal. Immediately I thought of you. I called you. You handled it. You got the people we needed on board to get the deal closed. And it closed. And it was phenomenal. And it was, so thank you for that. That was great.
Yeah. My pleasure. I'll want 5 more of those, please.
If I can find them, I will bring them to you. Trust me.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in today. I'm hoping that you got something out of what Aaron and I had to share about the market. And I think the big takeaway is that California is still ripe with lots of real estate opportunities. And to get started, contact a real estate and mortgage professional such as myself at 909-920-3500 or my cell preferably, and feel free to text to 909-821-3093. I look forward to hearing from you. Aaron, have a great day.
Great talking to you, Teresa. Have a good day.